Hello, hello, and welcome to day 8. Today, we are talking about why business owners don't know their numbers. So, yesterday I talked about the biggest financial mistakes business owners make. I listed several of them: pricing from fear, uncontrolled spending, mixing personal and business money, avoiding problems. But one of them I want to go deeper on today because, in my experience, it's the root of almost every other problem on that list, and that's not knowing your numbers as a business owner. And I want to be clear before I go any further, this is not judgment. This is not about intelligence. This is not about how hard you work. Most business owners I've worked with are incredibly smart, incredibly driven people. But somewhere along the way, the financial side of the business didn't get the same attention as everything else. So today I want to talk about why that happens and what to do about it. So the first question is, why don't most business owners know their numbers? Well, let's be honest, right? Because nobody taught them. Most business owners started their business because they were good at something. Maybe they were a great contractor. Maybe they were a great consultant. Maybe they had a product idea that solved a real problem. They didn't start their business because they loved reading financial reports, right? Like I did. They built the business. And the financial side kind of was what happened around them. The books were kept, tax returns were filed, but deep financial understanding, for most business owners, that was never part of the plan. So what does knowing your numbers actually mean? Well, that's a great question because a lot of people hear, know your numbers, and immediately think they need to become an accountant or a bookkeeper or the CFO of the company. That is not what I mean. Knowing your numbers mean being able to answer a handful of basic questions about your business at any given time. Questions like, how much cash do I have in the bank right now? How much money is owed to me? What does it cost me to run this business every single month? Am I actually profitable, or does it just feel that way because money's coming in? That's it. 4 or 5 questions. If you can answer those, you're further ahead than most business owners. So now question number 3. What is the danger of not knowing your numbers? You make decisions based on feelings instead of facts. You see money coming in and you feel good. You assume things are fine. But feelings and cash flow are not the same thing. I've worked with business owners who feel like their business was thriving and their bank account told a completely different story. I've also worked with business owners who felt like their business was struggling when we actually looked at their numbers together. There was more opportunity there than they realized. When you don't know your numbers, you're navigating your business without a dashboard and you're navigating blind. You're driving with your eyes closed. And eventually, that catches up. So why do business owners avoid looking at their numbers? Fear. Mostly fear. There's a human response to financial stress that says, if I don't look at it, it didn't happen. It's not as bad as I thought. And that problem is avoidance almost always makes things worse. The longer a financial issue goes unaddressed, the fewer options you have to fix it. I've seen businesses that had a fixable problem in January that turned into a crisis by March simply because nobody looked. Avoiding your numbers do not protect you. It just delays the inevitable moment when you have to deal with reality. So what's the difference between knowing your numbers and understanding your numbers? Knowing your numbers means you can pull them up. Understanding your numbers means you know what they're telling you. For example, a business owner might know their revenue was $50,000 last month, right? But do they know what their gross margin was? Do they know how much of that $50,000 actually made it to the bank after expenses were paid? Do they know which service or product generated the majority of that revenue? Do they know whether that $50,000 will be enough to cover next month's obligation? That's the difference. The second level of understanding is where real financial decision making lives. So what role does the team play in this problem? This is something I see a lot. Business owners tend to delegate the finances to a bookkeeper or an accountant and then completely disconnects from the numbers. Now, let's get it straight. I am not against bookkeepers and I'm not against accountants, right? They both serve critical functions. But here's the thing. Your bookkeeper tracks what already happened. Your accountant files what already happened. Neither one of them are making strategic decisions about your cash flow. As a business owner, that's your job. You can outsource the execution. You cannot outsource the understanding. So, what's the first step for a business owner who wants to actually understand their numbers? Easy. Start simple. Don't try to learn everything at once. Pick one number and track it every single week. I recommend starting with cash in the bank. Every Monday morning, write it down. That one habit alone will begin to change how you think about your business. After a few weeks, add another number. Maybe the accounts receivable number. How much is owed to you? Maybe the monthly expenses. What does it cost you to operate? You build your financial literacy the same way you build another skill. One thing at a time, consistently, over time. So then, what is the biggest mind shift or mindset shift that needs to happen? You have to decide that the financial side of your business is your responsibility, not your accountant, not your bookkeepers, not your spouse's, yours. Once you make that decision, everything else changes. You start asking better questions. Better questions lead to better results. You start understanding the reports that cross your desk. You start catching problems earlier. You start making decisions from clarity instead of from hope. And that shift does not require you to become a financial expert. It just requires you to take ownership. Not knowing your numbers is not a character flaw. For most business owners, it's just a gap in education, a gap in knowledge. The good thing is, it's a gap that you, as the business owner, can close. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to start somewhere. Pick one number this week, track it, and that's where the real financial clarity begins. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you for day 9 tomorrow. Bye.